Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Marketing Cloud Keynote. Before we get started, I would like to remind you of our forward-looking statements. Can I get next slide, please? Please base any decisions on software purchases based on existing functionality. And with that, let's get started and roll the video.
Good morning, Connections. Welcome to day 3 and the Marketing Cloud Keynote. I'm Liam Doyle, SVP of Product. As you can tell by the accent, I'm a native Chicagoan. I've actually been at Salesforce for 6 years, but this is my first year being the ringleader. Somehow I've managed to convince them to trade the collared shirts for the t-shirts, which means anything could happen in the next 40 minutes. So keep an eye out. Now, I've been in this industry for many years, and it still astounds me just how fast it continues to move. We really work in the most experimental discipline going around. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you, of course, for being our customers and our partners, but thank you for coming to events like these. Because it's an event like these that we get to listen and learn from you and understand what your needs and challenges are. So thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. Yes, thank you, Trailblazers. You're the best audience we've had. All right. Now, I'm sure you've heard many times over the last couple of days that we are in another industrial revolution, being founded on fundamentally disruptive technologies like AI and IoT. But you guys already know this. You know this because marketing is always at the forefront of these technologies. You're constantly having to reevaluate how your brand is built and nurtured. But we are entering the age of intelligent marketing, and it is bigger than the move to digital. Because in the age of intelligent marketing, the very nature of engagement has changed. Not just the number of devices that we need to interact with, but entirely new interfaces. We need to think about connected homes, connected products, and AI-driven voice interfaces. And these products are connecting and empowering consumers much faster than any of us could have anticipated. 20% of US homes now have a smart speaker. 46% of US adults use a digital assistant. Isn't that crazy? So we need to start thinking about what the tone of voice of our brand is. Does it have a sense of humor? And these are considerations for today, not for some distant future. And as consumers embrace these technologies, these all become part of the experience. And that's really important because 79% of consumers told us the experience was as important as the product or the service. Now, we've always known a brand is a sum of all the interactions that we have with a consumer, but it's never felt as tangible as this. From the marketing to the purchase, from the product to the service, these are all the building blocks for your brand. But we weren't built for this, right? We were built for campaigns, on channels, and that's how we measured ourselves. Well, at least that appears to be changing. Mary Meeker quoted our report a couple of weeks ago that showed that customer lifetime value was now considered the most important metric for optimizing advertising. Think about that for a second. I've been building products and advertising for years, and there's no CPM or CTR or CTA. This is a huge inflection point for our industry. But it's also really exciting as well, right? Because as marketers, did we ever really just want to sell the next Ducati? Or are we always hoping to create that experience of owning and riding a Ducati? That's the connected experience that your consumers want. And I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone in this audience that the path to get there is along these 3 channels. We need to know everything we can about our consumers with data. We need to use that data to personalize every engagement we have with them. And we need to do this across every touch point, not just marketing. That's the path. It's easy for me to say, but it's really not easy. And it's not easy because the market continues to change. It changes right from under you. So before we get into the Trailblazer stories, I'm actually going to share with you 3 emergent themes that are driving our investments. The first is my favorite. It's around data and knowing your consumer. I spend a lot of time with all of you, and you're always saying to me, Liam, I have data. I have more data than I know what to do with. I just can't use it. And no wonder, this is the world that you're looking at, right? It's all these disparate sources of data of all shapes and sizes, and somehow you're all expected to create this beautiful, unified consumer profile. But we get it. Because for the last 20 years, we've been building the world's most complete and intelligent CRM with all of you. But at the heart of this, we've been building a persistent storage layer for your most valuable first-party data. So we can help you manage it all of that offline data from across the customer success platform. We are already synchronizing 12 terabytes every 15 minutes. We can help you, thanks to the DMP, capture all that online data coming from websites and apps and from devices, and all of that rich event signal that comes with it. And thanks to our acquisition, our little acquisition of MuleSoft, we can even help you reach into the deep, dark recesses of your enterprise architecture. So we can help you manage it all, but more importantly, we can help you use it. And when you add Einstein and our investments with identity and consumer rights, Salesforce is the most complete, enterprise-grade consumer data solution in the market. Now, you're going to see these Trailblazer stories will all have the data platform at work, but this is an area of huge investment for us, so you're going to see us continue to bring this together and make it more connected. Now, I love data. My friends tell me it's a bit of a problem, but data comes to life through personalization, right? Personalization is how we communicate to consumers that we know them and what they need. And I think we all know that personalizing with AI is the only way for us to scale this up to B2C scale and to do this for each and every consumer. Now, I'm sure you've seen this stat a couple of times over the last couple of days, but 76% of consumers don't just want personalization, they expect it. They just want it in a trusted way. And so in the Ducati demo, you're going to see that when you bring trust into the equation, you get to really unlock the power of personalization. Now, we have all this data, we're harnessing AI. Is all of it just so we can drive more relevant email and ads? It can't be, right? Because if every touch point is equal in delivering your brand experience, then as marketers, you need to have a hand in all of it. You know, digital assistants have arrived, but messaging and chatbots are where the brand experience is won and lost today. Even the buying process and the very unsexy fulfillment process is now part of your brand. You can thank Amazon Prime for that one. And these are all examples where consumers reach out to us and they expect that we will respond to them in real time. So as an industry, we need to evolve from driving and orchestrating just brand-driven activity to listening and responding to consumer-driven activity as well. We need to become engagement-driven. And this two-way engagement is fundamental for all of us to consider in the age of intelligent marketing. And that's what we've been building with the Marketing Cloud, the world's #1 consumer engagement platform. You have Journey Builder and our newly announced and my favorite product, Interaction Studio, to help with inbound and outbound orchestration that gives you that two-way engagement. You have enterprise-grade data management capabilities with DMP and Data Studio at the core, and now our new partnership with Google Analytics 360. Of course, we have the channels you'd expect: email, mobile, web, advertising. But all of this is built on the Salesforce platform. And that brings Einstein. And Einstein is the intelligence that you need to drive that personalization and scale. Now, as you're all thinking about how to deliver your brand promise in the age of intelligent marketing, we all need to think about how data, engagement, and orchestration work together seamlessly. And that's what we've been building with the Marketing Cloud. There is a missing piece, though, the most important piece. Because who's actually going to drive the change? This is great technology, but who's going to transform your business or take your industry in a new direction? You are. You're the innovators. You're the ones disrupting your business model. That's why you're here. You're the ones shaping the direction of your respective industries. For us, nothing that we do with our technology will make a difference without trailblazers like all of you to help make the change. And there's no better example of a trailblazer than my next guest, Gilda Hilaire. Gilda is joining us from Aetna. Please join me on stage, Gilda. Thanks, Gilda. Gilda has transformed 6 businesses in her career. She was the founder of the original Marketing Cloud user group in Boston, and she continues to give back through her thought leadership. So thank you so much for joining us, Gilda.
Thank you for having me.
I've been told that with the live stream, I'm supposed to stand here. So Gilda, thank you for joining us. Now, you've obviously seen a huge amount of change in your career. What have you learned about how to make change successful?
Well, I've learned a lot throughout my career, but one of the most important things that I've learned that I've carried through with every single organization is that we have to work collaboratively in order to identify the journey for our customers. Nothing is more important than that, right? But that takes collaboration between the different teams and the different organizations. It's beyond just email, mobile, and social. But in the world that we live in, we also have to think about that customers also interacting with our customer service teams as well as our sales orgs. So we have to think through that entire journey. Now, I'm not ruling out that you have to build a system, you have to test it, you have to onboard the team that needs to support it, and of course you have to identify the data systems that need to talk to each other. I'm merely saying that we have to think through what does that past experience look like for our customers, and how can we make that next experience even better.
Yeah, I love that focus, that singular focus on experience. It aligns very closely to us. So obviously engagement has changed a lot from what you're doing at Aetna versus I think you started your career at Johnson & Johnson.
Right.
Can you maybe share a little bit about how engagement has changed and what excites you about where we are today?
A lot has excited me. I have to laugh because just the other day I was looking at my archive folder in Yahoo, and I started using ExactTarget back in 2006. So it's about 12 years of using the platform throughout my career. And I found a folder that had old archives of emails, and I have to be honest, I'm surprised I wasn't in email jail. Only because I found one email that used every single color from the Crayola box.
I've seen that email. Yeah.
Subject lines with 2 sentences. I had one email that had 6 different font types, font folio, fireworks, and all the different images equaled me, and I was like the animated GIF queen. But that was then in 2006. But I didn't really care about the customer journey. That wasn't my priority. I didn't really think about the data systems that needed to talk to each other. My motto was spray, pray, move on to the next. Because I literally had so many emails and requests piled up. You know, J&J's initiative at the time was to educate its patients so that, they could, push through any pains that they were having, to activate their life. But for me, it was spray, pray, move on to the next. But as I think about what I'm doing now at Aetna, first of all, it's collaborative between different teams in the organization. But Aetna is really trying to bring the health back in healthcare. We have an opportunity to educate our members so that they are well engaged and well informed throughout their health journey. But for us, the criticalness in that is that we cannot afford to make a mistake when it comes to their journey. We also cannot afford to make a mistake by not sending the customer agent any sort of customer complaints or leads to the sales org. So we need to ensure that we have a platform that allows us to send messages at the right time, the right copy, in a personalized way. But again, I can't stress enough the importance of doing it collaboratively. Because when I was at J&J, I wore multiple hats, which I'm sure a lot of you do. But now you have to work collaboratively in order to understand that experience for the customer.
Amazing. Yeah, I've seen a few of those emails. Thanks for sharing. It's definitely a different world.
Right.
Now, you have a lot of Trailblazers in the room. You love to give back to your community. Perhaps you can tell other Trailblazers how they should think about engaging the community.
So I'm sure of you have spent a lovely couple of 3 days at Connections, attending really good sessions, hearing success stories from other Trailblazers, networking with other folks. But I'm pretty sure, as I am, a lot of you are frustrated because you just found out that there's an issue you've been working on for several weeks that somebody else has solved for. Or some of you are stuck in AmpScript land, or some of you are stuck trying to figure out why your query's not working. Well, that's the beauty of being a Trailblazer, is that we have an opportunity to share some of these solutions with others. You are not alone. Back in 2006, I was alone. 2018, you are surrounded by folks who are like-minded just like you, who are just as passionate about the platform as you are. And I feel that that's what makes Trailblazers unique, is the more we surround ourselves with people with the same passion as we are, we become more successful. And the more we can find people to validate some of the issues that we're having, it also makes us much more disruptive than we currently are. So what I advise all my Trailblazers to do is to go out there and join a community around you. And if there isn't one, start one, right? It just takes 2 people to start to become a Trailblazer and to start a user group, just like I did in Boston.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, Gilda. There's your call to action, everybody. Start a user group. Thank you, Gilda. Now, hopefully you can all see how important it is to have passionate Trailblazers like Gilda helping drive change. Now, next we have 2 amazing Trailblazer stories in Ticketmaster and Ducati, both who have very inspiring visions for how they're transforming consumer engagement. So we're going to start with Ticketmaster. And to bring that story to life, I'm going to invite my friend, my confidant, probably the world's best product marketer, Meghann York, to the stage.
You flatter me, Liam. Hello, Connections! Oh, this is so exciting. My name is Megan, and I want to introduce you to my buddies Dave and Isaac over there in the demo desk. So we are so excited to tell you the story of Ticketmaster. I am a live music junkie, and I can tell you firsthand that Ticketmaster is a marketing trailblazer. They do so many of the things that Liam just talked about. They're listening to what I'm telling them. They use that to understand the things I like, and then they deliver me offers and messages that have truly resulted in some of the most fun and most incredible experiences of my life. And they've been using the core Marketing Cloud products to do that. You'll see in the demo how they use Journey Builder to connect interactions across digital channels and even areas of their business like sales and service. Email Studio, the world's leading email marketing platform. Advertising Studio to amplify their message across social advertising. And then Mobile Studio to reach their customers where they are in the moment through push or SMS. But the marketers at Ticketmaster, they really want to start taking that marketing to the next level, don't we all, right? And they want to lean on data and analytics and real-time interaction management to do that. And I've got some good news. We've got some amazing innovations coming in those areas. The first is our partnership with Google Analytics 360. So if you remember, we made the big announcement out at Dreamforce, and I am thrilled to tell you that we have features live and in product today. In the demo, you'll see a Journey Analytics dashboard there in Journey Builder, where you can see all your email and mobile performance data right alongside all that rich data from Analytics 360. And then coming in July is a first ever integration point where you'll be able to take your audiences from Analytics 360 and activate those in Marketing Cloud for cross-channel journeys. Really excited to show you that. The second announcement is around Interaction Studio. And like Liam said, this is a really, really cool product. Interaction Studio is real-time interaction management. What does that mean? Well, it means we can listen to what your customers are doing in real time, determine the next best action or offer for them, and then deliver that offer in real time across channels. So, don't take my word for how cool these products are. Isaac, let's bring up the Marketing Cloud and start showing everyone. So we've told you that Ticketmaster uses Journey Builder to orchestrate all of those communications across channels. And now in Journey Builder, with just one click of a button, we can pull up that Journey Analytics dashboard. You'll see here all of how we're measuring all of those messages within the journey. And then we're bringing that great data in from Analytics 360 to see how we're working towards those conversion goals we set up, and even information about what people are doing after the click. So Ticketmaster noticed something interesting. They saw that a bunch of people were browsing VIP packages, but they weren't actually purchasing those packages. This is an awesome re-engagement opportunity, right? So they go into Analytics 360, and they create that audience of people who browse VIP but didn't purchase, and they're going to use that as a trigger in Journey Builder. You guys, this is the first time ever that Google has allowed those audiences to be activated outside of the Google platform. Needless to say, we're pretty excited about it. Applause for the Google partnership. But this is not the only reason that this journey is really cool. It's also cool because it uses an Einstein split. So we're going to use artificial intelligence to determine what channel people are most likely to interact in. So if I'm most likely to interact with an email, of course I should receive that email. But what if email's not my thing? Well, then I'm going to go down the path of receiving a push notification or maybe a social ad. Okay, so now we've shown you what this looks like from the marketer's perspective. Let's take a look at the consumer perspective. We're going to look at my journey with Ticketmaster. True confession moment here. I told you that I love live music. My guilty pleasure is none other than Miss Taylor Swift. Maybe my t-shirt gave it away. So when Taylor releases a new video, it's like a really, really big deal in my house. So my kids and I are on YouTube. We're browsing her latest video, and this great ad pops up. I just told you about my love of Taylor. Ticketmaster has known about it for a really long time. So of course, I'm interested here. I click on the ad, and I'm taken to my mobile app. So you can see here, I had tickets to the show in Indianapolis, but that is not until September. And I was looking at all those pictures on Instagram, and I was having FOMO like you would not believe. And so I saw she was going to be right here in Chicago just a couple of weeks ago. So I click on that show, start browsing around a little bit. I told you I see a lot of live music, become a bit of a seat snob, so I'm looking at those VIP packages. But I'm taking my kids to this one, I think, and I'll tell you, they are jaded enough. So we are just gonna go and purchase some regular tickets this time. So now you've seen how I interacted with Ticketmaster across all of these channels, but how is all that being captured in the Marketing Cloud? That's through Interaction Studio. So let's go ahead and bring up Interaction Studio and orient you to it a little bit. Like we said, the first thing Interaction Studio does is let you capture all that customer behavior in real time. Then it lets you make sense of it. What does that behavior mean as far as a customer's preferences and their intent? Then we can decide which offer each customer should receive, very personalized offer in real time, and deliver that across channels. It also lets us do one more thing. It allows us to visualize how your customers are interacting with you across the life cycle. So here you can see how Ticketmaster could think about their customer lifecycle, all the way from awareness to engagement. Now, this canvas is fully customizable here because we know everyone's lifecycle stages are a little bit different. The blue lines at the top are showing us how people progress across those lifecycle stages like we hoped they would. But like Liam said, consumers have the mind of their own. I certainly do. And so that purple line is showing you maybe how customers are bouncing back and forth between lifecycle stages, or even maybe dropping out completely. We can also take a deeper look here and see how different touch points match up to those lifecycle stages. So we can see here all of the channels that we have, and we can see where that engagement is really high, and maybe where the engagement is not where we want it to be, or again, where people are dropping out of the process. So that, as marketers, allows us to go in and tweak the messages and tweak the journey so that we keep customers engaged and progressing how we want them to. Okay, so we've seen through these different screens how Ticketmaster could visualize kind of the behavior of their entire customer base. But Interaction Studio also lets us go even one level deeper, looking at individual profiles. So here is my profile in Interaction Studio. You can see Ticketmaster has identified me as a high-value customer. I purchase a lot of tickets. And you can see that they've captured all of those behaviors that you saw me do. I clicked on an ad, browsed in the mobile site, looked at VIP, didn't purchase but purchased regular tickets. All of those digital interactions captured here in Interaction Studio. But what happens about offline interactions? Offline interactions are sometimes just as important at marketing moments as all of those online interactions. Well, the cool thing is that Interaction Studio can bring in all of that offline data as well. So let's see what happened when the kids and I go to Soldier Field to the show a couple weeks ago. We walk up to the ticket gate, I get my ticket scanned, and that ticket scan is captured right here in Interaction Studio. And then look what happens. I received a push notification letting me know that we had been upgraded to a VIP package at the show. Needless to say, we were absolutely freaking out. It was awesome. Awesome customer experience. But think about that and all of the awesomeness that's going on behind the scenes in Interaction Studio to make that happen. Ticketmaster knew I was a high-value customer. They knew I was a candidate for that VIP upgrade. They knew I had just gotten to the show. They matched that up with all of the available ticket inventory and then sent me that push notification in real time. I'm a marketer, and if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. So the kids and I go to the show. You're gonna see our Instagram picture right here. We have an amazing time. So then we get home, and I get my typical Ticketmaster email reminding me I have another show coming up, Imagine Dragons in Indianapolis. And what do you know? There are some VIP offers still available for that show. Well, I'm gonna tell you, when you sit in those VIP seats, it is really hard to go back. So I'm gonna click through, I'm gonna upgrade my package just like Ticketmaster hoped I would. Okay, so what have we seen today? We saw how Journey Builder helped orchestrate all of those interactions across channels, like email, mobile, and advertising. We saw how Ticketmaster marketers could use Google Analytics to get some really great insight into their customers' behavior and then take action on it. And then how they could use Interaction Studio to engage their customers online or offline in those matters that really matter most. That is truly the power of the Marketing Cloud. Thank you guys so much, and back to you, Liam.
Amazing. Thanks, Megan. Isn't that incredible? I think that's amazing. It's one of my favorite products. Now, if I could invite Kat up to the stage. I have Kat Frederick here from Ticketmaster.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us, Kat. We really appreciate it. Now, I think you're meant to be there, actually. So Ticketmaster, you guys are one of our most progressive customers. You're always continuing to move the state-of-the-art forward. Can you perhaps share a little bit about what your vision is for consumer engagement?
Absolutely. I think the way that consumers, our fans have experienced Ticketmaster over time has changed so much. As Stephanie Buscemi said yesterday, you used to walk into a Tower Records, and today you have an experience that's evolving from that rush of the on sale to one that is much more identity-based as we evolve, and that requires so much more information. It requires us being highly personalized in our experience, making sure that we're getting the right fan, the right ticket at the right time, through the right mediums, the right channels, and the right message. And for us, that's everything.
Yeah. Well, so we're a little bit biased here at Salesforce. We think the partnership with Google is pretty great. Perhaps you can share a little bit about what excites you about us working together.
And as I said yesterday, it really does come down to the scale at which Ticketmaster executes on its platform. It's 500 million tickets transacted per year. It's 15 tickets per second across 29 countries. And what that requires in order to serve our fans in a truly personalized engagement is data. It is technology. And for us, that's really unlocked that one-to-one conversation. so many signals go into how we have those conversations. And it is really personal. I mean, I'll tell the story about, I have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and the way that Meghann explained it, as we think about sort of that consumer life cycle, we saw Frozen on ice, of course we did. They're 4 and 5, and they are the best of sisters. But in 10 years, they're going to be going to their Taylor Swift tour, or their Bruno Mars tour, or their Halsey tour, and that progression needs to evolve with the tastes of our fans, and they need to graduate to that. And as marketers, I need to know that they're going to graduate to that.
So you're saying our tastes don't stay the same through our entire lives? Crazy,
no,
crazy.
Well, unless you're my husband and you're a hardcore Chicago Bears fan.
Well, I'm a Chicagan, so go Bears.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining us, Kat. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, it's inspiring to see story brands like Ticketmaster continue to challenge their own business model. Now, next, we have the story of Ducati and their next chapter. Now, Isaac, I believe everybody gets a free Ducati at the end of this, right? Okay, everyone goes and speak to Isaac, and he's going to give you a free Ducati at the end of this. Let's roll the video. Beautiful. Now, to tell us the story of Ducati's next chapter, I'd like to invite my friend and the aggressively cheerful VP of Product Marketing, Rob Begg, to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. Hello, Chicago. I look just like the guy in the video, right? No. I am really excited to talk to you about Ducati today. I love anything that's got 2 wheels and a motor, and so it is truly a passion to be able to share it. If you've known anyone who's owned a Ducati, if you've ever owned a Ducati, you know it's not just a motorcycle. People are truly passionate about the brand, and they get together all the time to talk about it. So how does Ducati make that connection between these true fans and their brand? Well, Ducati uses the Marketing Cloud, and they're a trailblazer. They use Social Studio to make those connections across social channels. They use Data Studio and the DMP to find those signals that consumers leave online so that they're able to better personalize and reach them. And they use distributed marketing to make the connection between the marketing team and the dealers who truly are the face of the brand of Ducati in the marketplace. So before we roll up our sleeves and show you how Ducati uses the Marketing Cloud, I've got 2 big announcements to share. Our first announcement is multi-channel audiences. This is all about personalization. It's about taking all those signals that consumers leave online and bring that back to the customer record so that you can better personalize. But not just better personalize advertising, but email, mobile, and beyond. Our second big announcement of the day is Salesforce Social Data Platform. Building on Salesforce's industry-leading social media coverage, it's about taking that and bringing it other places in Salesforce, places like service, the DMP, and beyond, and giving brand new insights on your consumers. So, who's ready to talk about motorcycles? Me? Okay, let's get to it. So, true story. After 3 kids, 4 soul-crushing minivans, I am actually back in the market for a bike. True story. And Ducati is actually making bikes for me. This is the market that they're going after. They're going after the market of people like me who are getting back into the game. But how do they reach me? That's the marketing challenge. I haven't been in a dealership in 20 years. There wasn't a marketing database last time I rode a bike. So how do they get me in the dealership? Well, this is where the Marketing Cloud comes in. Let's go take a look. Content is a pillar of Ducati's marketing strategy. You gotta hear the bike, you gotta see the bike to feel it. And then they activate that across channels using the Marketing Cloud. Today, we're gonna start in Social Studio. Social Studio is where they get great insight from that social data on what kind of content's resonating with their consumers and how they can make it better. They can also engage one-to-one with their consumers, but today, Isaac and I are gonna go ahead and we're gonna activate some of that content on Facebook. For Ducati, Facebook is #1 in consumer engagement. It's where you find people like me. We're gonna use a video because you want it to be really rich and you want them to hear and feel that bike, so we're gonna go ahead and get that published. Before we publish this post though, we wanna make sure we do 2 things. First thing, we wanna have a great call to action. The second thing we wanna do is make sure we have the tracking in place so we'll be able to connect that back to the Marketing Cloud and to the rest of Salesforce. So let's go ahead and do that and get that published. So back to me, when I first started my journey of buying a bike, I followed some of the brands that I was interested in, including Ducati. And as I'm wont to do, I spend a little bit of time on Facebook from time to time. And as I'm scrolling my feed, I see that video that Ducati shared. And I give it a watch, and it kind of excites me. I don't look like the guy, but I certainly could be that guy. So I go ahead and I click the video, and it takes me over to the mobile site. Couple of clicks around the mobile site, boom, something happens. It's Meghann calling me. And I don't want to have FOMO, whatever that is, by not answering the phone with Meghann. But this is real life for consumers. They don't just find a piece of content, click it, walk into your dealership and buy a bike. They have interruptions and distractions through their day. It's really how it is. So a couple hours later, I get back to Ducati, I'm back at home and I'm on my laptop. I'm browsing the Ducati site, and as I go through the models, I find one that really appeals to me. Oh, my collar's up here. The X Diavel is actually a bike built for folks like me. It's got the style and the performance of Ducati, but in a comfort ride that, frankly, people like me want. So I personalize the bike a bit. I go into the configurator. There's a Model S. It's got all the cool tech that I love. And it comes in a black that's gonna look sweet next to my minivan in the driveway. But it's getting near the end of the night. I close my laptop up, and I go off to bed. For marketers, this is how it is. I didn't bring the pajamas today. They didn't come in Ducati brand. But that truly is how marketers do it. How do marketers make that connection between people who are cross-device over time, and they're probably not logged in? How do they make that connection? Well, they use multi-channel audiences powered by the DMP to do that. Let's go take a look. So here we have all the data that's coming in through these interactions. This is data on the volume, the velocity, and where that data is coming from. But also, Liam mentioned at the beginning, it's about consumer rights and privacy. So the new Salesforce Consumer Rights Management dashboard helps marketers like Ducati manage that in the way their consumers want to. For Ducati, that's just good marketing. So let's go ahead and do something with our folks that have interacted with our brands. Let's go create a segment. Our segments can have 2 attributes. First, they came from Facebook. Remember, we put that tracking in place. We want to be able to make that connection. And second, they configured the X Diavel S in black. We're gonna call this segment the X Diavel Explorers. That sounds like a good one. Let's give that a name. And we're gonna go ahead and activate that. That's gonna take this data back to the customer records of people we already know. And we'll be able to personalize all those interactions in the future with them with this information. What about the rest of them? What about me that they have no data on and no record on? Well, they wanna find more about me, and this is where Data Studio comes in. Data Studio brings outside data to enrich this segment and tell us more. But I want help. I wanna know a little bit more. We're gonna run Einstein segmentation, and Einstein segmentation is gonna use trillions of data points to tell us more about these X Diavel Explorers. I see there's one persona that really stands out. And if we explore that a bit, let's go take a look. You see that there's something kind of surprising there. Not only do we love these bikes, but we love beach holidays and planning beach trips. I would have never have guessed that. I would have thought gearheads, tech nerds, guys who buy sweatshirts. And so we go ahead and we activate that with some rich advertising to be able to reach them. So fast forward to me, I must be having a light week at work, and I'm spending a bit of time on some of my favorite sites, and I'm on Travel and Leisure, and I see that ad for that X Diavel. It's the exact model I look for in the exact color, gets my attention. I click and head over to the Ducati mobile site. After a couple clicks, something happens. The Ducati customer relations team reaches out with a chat. Remember, Liam talked about this. That's that 2-way interaction that consumers want today. They ask if I need some help. I said, yeah, I think I'm ready to make that step. And I go ahead and give them some information. They say, hey, they'll be in touch. Fast forward a bit later in the day, I pop into my inbox, and I see a message. not just from Ducati, but from the local dealership here in Chicago, reaching out to me. And there's two things that are really cool about this message. First, it's the exact bike that's been configured for me for my preferences and for what I've looked at. This is multi-channel audiences at work. Amazing. But if you look down a little bit in the email, you see there's a personal email from the actual dealer. Not only telling me how to get into the dealer, but making some suggestions on how to come in, when to come in for a test drive. This is Salesforce distributed marketing at work. It took all that data and all that personalization that the marketing team knew and let the dealer activate it with that personal touch. An amazing customer experience. So we looked at this. Let's take a look at what we saw. The social data platform gave us the insights to create great content. Social Studio let us publish to Facebook with the tracking to connect it together. Multi-channel audiences took all those online signals and let us personalize not only advertising, but email and messaging and beyond. The DMP and Data Studio gave us an insight we would have never found without it. And then we connected that dealer experience with the marketing experience using distributed marketing. So hey, what happened when I went to the dealership? Any guesses? Let's find out. Hey, Connections. Well, I finally got into that dealership, and I think my day is looking pretty good. Catch you next year, Connections.
And that is the power of bringing all that digital signal and coupling it with the human interface of Ducati's brand, the dealer. Now, hopefully you've all seen some innovation to excite and inspire you today. If you'd like to learn where Mary Meeker gets her data from, text ads to 38767 and you'll get our Digital Advertising 2020 report. If you'd like to know more about Salesforce and Marketing Cloud, go to trailhead.com, get those badges. Our next big learning event is Dreamforce, little event in San Francisco in a couple of months' time. Please join us there. Thank you very much. Now, for those of you who are leaving, we have one giveaway as well. So for those, thanks to our partners with Ticketmaster, we have 10 $500 gift cards for all of you. Sorry for those online. If all you need to go is to sforce.co/marketing on your phone, not on your laptop, and scratch to win. That's it. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Have an amazing day. Thank you.